Okay, so welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're taking a look at arcade spirits on the Nintendo Switch. This one, it's combining a love for retro video games, pop culture, arcades, all in a visual novel shell. Can it though do enough to earn your cash? Well, if you're new here, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we do, join our growing family, and let's get started. So Arcade Spirits, it's based in an alternative history, one where the 1983 video game marketing crash never happened. In this world, arcades, they are still very much big business and they reign supreme in a world where esports and celebrity status are just commonplace. Here though, you'll be taking on the role of a customizable character with he, she or they pronouns, creating your own path in what is essentially a romantic comedy. Now if the romance piece there puts you off, do not worry though, I will say it's completely optional over the game's 8 chapters and you can very much just focus on the work at hand. So story, it is pretty light stuff overall, but I will say it occasionally segues into more challenging topics, including friendship, finding your way, loneliness and depression. And when it does that, I've got to say the potential here really does shine. The setup for the story, it's simple enough. You're out of work again, unfortunately, so your housemate and best friend introduces you to an app. This app, it's designed to basically manage your personal life, but also find you a job you will absolutely adore. This app, it also makes up the core concept of the game with a system known as Iris, and this basically rates your character in 5 areas: kindly, quirky, steady, gutsy and basically. These factors, they essentially create a map of our protagonist's personality, and they can be viewed in game as well as at the end of each chapter of the story. While I did find them interesting enough, I will say I didn't really notice how it was impacting my character or how the storyline progressed, and I felt it was more like feedback on me as an individual and not necessarily my game's characters, more just judging my responses. Now while overall I will say I enjoyed the story, the writing is kinda hit and miss at times. Not bad necessarily, but often predictable or restricted by the stereotypical personalities most of our cast have. By this I mean the cast very one-dimensional a large percentage of the time. The idea is it's creating ties with one or multiple of them in either friendship or romance. The problem, they rely on like a single trait for each instead of creating a well-rounded and realistic personality. We basically end up looking at what are stereotypes: the geeky, the strong, the intelligent, the ditzy, the dominant. When the characters do break free of this though, very occasionally, I'm going to put that out there, this again, that's when the game is very much at its best. Overall, look, the world's fantastic, as are the countless pop culture references that I really appreciated. I just wish they had more confidence to push these characters beyond a simple silhouette of an individual. Did I enjoy the story? Sure. In fact, I really like the cast, and that's why I'm pushing for more from it, because I do see the potential here, but I also wanted to see these characters grow. I wanted to learn more about them, and it kind of failed to live up to my expectations. So gameplay, it's a visual novel, so it's going to be quick. Here we make decisions from a few presented options, each linked to the Iris personality system that the game touts. This in turn gradually rounds out our score, though again, as I said, it doesn't really impact the overall experience. Outside of this, then, progressing the story forward, the romance options, it's entirely your choice with a cast of male and female characters, and you can be with who you please, even skipping that part entirely if you prefer. Choice is good, so I appreciate this inclusion, as many will simply want to play this as a character study more than anything and get a general vibe of day-to-day life. Outside of this, then, the usual visual novel options: auto scroll for text, an option to fast forward at like a super speed pace, and yeah, that's gameplay. Now one annoying thing I will point out here, I learnt the hard way, I do want to mention, no autosave. That only occurs at the end of each chapter, and they typically last like 60 minutes each. My first playthrough, I maybe did 30 minutes, quit out only to jump back in a few hours later and discover I had to start all over again. It's nothing against the game, but a little bit more warning of this would have very much been appreciated. So graphically speaking, I largely like what we get here. Varying environments make up the backgrounds, and while they're not usually detailed or anything, they do more than enough to establish the scene. I particularly did like the arcade, which is obviously the main location, because you'll see it discussed in conversation and specific machines, and they can very much be visibly seen in the environment, so that's a nice touch. Then there's also quite a bit of movement in location. You'll go from your apartment to the beach, to the canteen, to the car, and yes, or at least I think it is. That's gotta be a reference to Scooby-Doo and the gang. Character design though, then we have a nice mix of male and female characters who largely are, I've gotta say, well drawn. Characters are each unique and they have some basic animations attached to them. These, I will say, while they are well drawn, they're very much matching again the one trait each holds as it's intended. I'm pretty confident looking at this you can guess the geek, the ditzy, the muscle. I really did like the character design overall, but again I think they could have maybe pushed the boundaries a tiny bit. Sadly, the same can't be said of the character creator itself. While I appreciate the inclusion, it's extremely weak in its working parts, limiting you to eye colour, 3 hairstyles, hair colour and clothing colour. Even the face design and body, it's the same, meaning whether he, she, they, it doesn't matter. Your character's always going to look that same way, and that's kind of unusual if you ask me, and it never quite feels right, no matter what pronoun you choose. Visually, overall, outside of this flaw, I did like, you know, what we got here. They captured kind of a futuristic vibe while paying tribute to the arcades of yesterday. Then there's also no question the art is very much well done. A few more animations here and there would have been appreciated, but for a visual novel it absolutely delivers where it needs to, and I think most of you out there who enjoy these experiences will be happy. Audio here is, I don't like it at all. It's not that it's bad, it's the execution. The voice acting, it's okay, ranging from like, yeah, okay, it's passable to that's decent. They deliver the lines though to a certain degree of ability and very much match the limited personalities we're presented with. The problem for me though, it's the audio design itself. It's nothing short of just weird. First up, characters, they're voiced maybe 50% of the time. The rest then it's either silence, or they may say a word or two or a quick summary of the dialogue on screen. The full acting, perfect. The silence, I can handle. But the one word or two or the summary just felt confusing as they would start to speak as I was reading the subtitle, and it just confused me because I didn't know what to focus on and the text and the dialogue didn't match up at all. It was just hard in my brain, honestly. For me, they should have scrapped this entirely and just committed to either full dialogue recording or silence. They clearly though did have all the pieces in place ready to go, so a little bit of extra time and care would have definitely got them there. Then for audio, the music, repetitive and nearly on loop the whole time, but it's actually, I've got to say, pretty catchy, never got annoying, but when the character speaks or makes a sound, it stops nearly entirely, cutting to an inaudible volume before abruptly returning at the end of the dialogue. It's so weird, it sounds cheap, and surely they could have done something with, you know, a little bit of a fade and volume adjustment just to allow for both to be there at the same time. I couldn't help but notice it every single time, and yeah, strange. Finally though, the locations, again another missed opportunity for audio and sound effects. Outside of the very occasional environmental sound, it largely just relies on music, and I think with so many varying locations, these small touches could have brought the whole world together and definitely helped with the immersion from the sound front. You know, we go to the beach, we go to the arcade, we go to the canteen, surely there'd be noise happening around you. I mean, when was the last time you went to an arcade and it was silent? Audio, overall, complete miss for me. So I've for sure been hard on Arcade Spirits today, and I want to say now, it's not that it's a bad game, I just see a lot of missed potential with it. Overall though, look, I still walked away very much enjoying the experience. I loved the story concept, the characters for the most part were definitely entertaining, and the art design was pretty great. It just sucks when you see missed potential and it's all then let down by some weak character development that just impacts the overall story, honestly. There's also a less than ideal creation tool, meaning your immersion will definitely be broken from the opening seconds. Audio, also, very strange. When the characters do stretch beyond their assigned traits though, and the game tackles more intense themes like loneliness, and being an adult, and depression, and relationships, you get this small glimmer of everything it could have been, which could have so easily just elevated this to a strong recommendation from me. As it is though, for every good moment or two, a weak one is normally, sadly, pretty close behind. I hope to see more of this world and these characters because, as I said, the potential is here. I have no doubt of that, but it definitely needs more polish for sure. This is the romantic comedy. Now give me the deep dive on them if we get to see them again. Today I'm awarding Arcade Spirits a good 7 out of 10. For those of you who are not fans of the genre, you won't find anything new here to convince you in. Fans of visual novels though, you'll no doubt enjoy it as long as you don't go in expecting anything, you know, too challenging, and you just want something light, you know, a bit of comedy, a bit of romance, something you can basically relax to. overall with this one, look, when the credits rolled, I didn't regret my time with this cast, and that's what matters in the end. So thanks so much for watching. Leave the video a like if we did help you out today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, if you're new to the channel, maybe hit subscribe. Join our growing family where we'll keep you up to date with all the latest Switch news, reviews and deals. I'll see you all on the next video.